Chaos Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. That intro they love. Like a motherfucker. Like a motherfucker. Smack at it. Fire. I got all into it, right? As you can tell by that thumbnail, Spence on at the guard. We're about to get into it. Didn't want to do it. Feel I have to. I feel it's necessary to keep it real. You know, this individual Sundown. Now, he was brought to my plate months and months ago, about a year and a half ago, actually. And when I was introduced to this individual, I felt that if for no other reason, I should let him tell his story on my platform. You know, this guy is a legend. You know, that I cannot deny. A legend meaning that he was once part of an organization or part of a group, allegedly, that not a lot of people can achieve that greatness, I guess, within the game world or that level, you know. Now, in a menudo style, in a direct fashion, I'm one of those individuals, in order to tell a story, I got to believe your story. You know, it's got to be believable. And every conversation that I had with this guy, you know, a lot of things, although at times it seemed outlandish, it seemed a little far-fetched, I believe just based on his credibility and where he had been in his life, he was able to tell his story. Now, everybody has their own truths. There's your story, my story, and then the truth, right? Whatever your truth be, however you speak it and say it, hey, that's on you, Wesley. You know, I can't tell your story for you. Only you know what happened that day. Only you know, who your celly was or what yarda you hit or if your butt got pinched on the daily. I can't speak on it, but one thing I can do is provide the platform for raza, for the people to speak on theirs. Now, if I see something that I say, nah, chale, you ain't talking about the hotita shit right here, then I'm never going to pay you no never mind, and I'm never going to give you that action just based on the brown people and all people need to hear stories that instill education, sklecha, realness. You know, we want to hear about historia. We want to hear about the history of Chicanismo, about our brown people. Things that we've been through no matter what side you're from, whether it be north, south, perro chatos. None of that matters. What does matter is the history of our people, because we are all the same at the end of the day. No goofies. I didn't say the end of the rainbow. Okay, no leprechauns here. The end of the day, and at the end of that particular day, we want to hear some realness. You know, I like to kick back myself on YouTube, scroll through YouTube, and listen to some real stories, because that's what gets me hyped up. That's what gets me saying, you know what, damn, Holmes, we did it like that back in the days. Spencer, Holmes. And I know what moves to make. It helps me to make that right instead of that left. Okay, so when I brought this individual onto my platform, I took him at face value. You never judge a book by its cover, but at the same time, I said, you know what, he's a viejito. He's been around the block for a long time. He did this way prior to me even thinking about doing it or knowing what it was. So I know that this individual is going to have some great stories. As I started to listen to his stories on YouTube from other channels, I started to get into them. Like I said, at times a little outlandish, a little reaching, but I knew that, hey, you can't fucking tell a man's story for him. So as he started to tell these stories, I started to become interested and more interested, because a lot of these characters that he talked about I either knew personally or knew of. You know, when you hear history and the way it is, and I've heard it so many different ways and so many different times, I know there's always a twist to everybody's story. Everyone's going to tell it differently. Not everyone's going to be the same. Now, there were some things that stood out to me about some of this guy's stories that I said, I don't know about that one, right? But at the same time, I'm not here to discredit a man and defecate on his character and shit on what he's saying. You know, if that's what he's saying, hey, that's probably what took place. Now, there's a thing called dreaming. You know, when you go to sleep, you dream. And most of those dreams, Spence, I'm here to tell you, they don't come true, right? So I've been dreaming about $1 million my whole life. I ain't even seen 100,000. Shit, the struggle is real for a Mexicano. But at the same time, I'm trying to achieve that bag. And the only way to achieve that is through hard work. Not through the boca, not through telling fake stories, not through manipulating people or discrediting other individuals because you have an agenda against them. And I would never defecate on a man's character just to do it because I have a platform too. There has to be a reasoning behind it. Okay, so today it's not a shit show. It's not a fucking roast fest. I'm not going to defecate on Sundown's character. I'm literally just going to put out there the lies and the deceit are just too much. Okay, there becomes a time when I look back at my past stories, things that I've dropped before concerning this man, or even when I let him come on my platform and tell a frivolous story, right? When I have to say, you know what? Something ain't right. Something doesn't seem right. I catch things. You know, I'm a pretty intelligent brown man, and I'm able to catch, guard, I'm able to catch some shit. Yeah, we caught you too. That's why you're here. Hands up, right? You're able to catch something. Now, when this man called me, he was like, hey, little brother. He always kept it respectful, and I always kept it respectful with him. And I intend to keep keeping it respectful. Now, I understand he might watch this and not like it, but sabes que truth is truth, real is real, facts are facts, homes and fakery. Ain't no time for that shaky and bakery over here. Like I said, I don't add preservatives to what I got to say. And I'm not going to allow anybody else to add preservatives. You're not going to fucking shit on people just because you think me and you are cool. Ain't going to happen. Now, look. When this guy first got at me, he was like, hey, little brother, you know what I mean? I got a story to tell. I tried to tell the other homeboys this. They weren't hearing it. You know, I'm going to bring it to you. What you got on my 40, Craig? I was like, hey, look, I'm going to look out for you. I'm going to do the best I can because I understand that supposedly you look out for homeboys that are incarcerated and you try to give back to your community. So if for any other reason, homes, I'm going to bless you with a little bit of bread. Not because you're coming to my platform and telling me a story, because I don't pay for interviews and do all that. I'm broke, right? I ain't got money like that. Fuck you, pay me, right? But at the same time, I will bless you with a little something for your pockets, like rockets, so you can go ahead and do what you does, cuz. Now, I always thought that was a little bit weird. Oh, I stay looking out for the homeboys 40, 50 plus years down the road, you know, because even myself, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, I got homeboys that are incarcerated, and they're lucky if they get a 20 every other month, right? The shit, times are rough out here. I got rent, I got car payment, so I was scared, I gotta get them on, right? So I got a lot of shit going on, and I can't always look out, but I do the best I can. So I understood that, hey, this man is trying to do the best he can. Why not help him out? So I did. Okay, that's facts. Now, at the same time, he said, hey, little brother, you know what I mean? He always had that Hogan voice. Hey, little brother. I was like, sprinkle him in, what? He was like, I got a story to tell. And the story I have to tell, no one knows about it. I've never put it out there. So I heard the story just like you guys heard the story right on the spot. See, I don't pre-record and do all that weird shit, man. Whatever's going to go down is going to go down right there. Ad-lib, right off the fucking tongue. Culebra. Straight up, right? So this Vato fucking goes into this story, and I'm sure if you want, you can go back in my, I'm going to leave it up, posted up for a little while longer. You can go look at this story. Now, this story right from the gate, I was intrigued. I was enraptured. I was caught up in the moment. A lot of people were. They were like, no fucking way, right? When you hear a story like he told, not only is he a good storyteller, and having been there and done that on some of these yards that he's spoken on, I was just deep in the moment. You know, I wasn't hearing what everyone else was hearing. I was looking at the man in the eyes and watching for facial expressions and watching the way he was displaying this story. And when he was putting this story out there, refer to my archives, you'll see the story. It's called Interview with the NF Hitman. So he says, right? I'm listening to this story. He started to speak on crimes that were committed by himself that were never figured out, never pinpointed on, never to be discovered, right? I thought right there that was a baboso move. I'm not calling him a baboso, but to what degree a baboso move? It was a very big capital B baboso because, first of all, you don't speak on crimes that no one's been incarcerated for. You don't speak on things that have happened out there in this world, Holmes, because the world fucking, it's out there, right? You don't speak on things that you've done in your past because there are no statute of limitations for certain crimes. So when this individual started to speak on this, I said, damn, it's like I've seen or heard this story before. Where was that shit, on Sammy the Bull or something, right? He started getting to some Sammy the Bullshit, right? It started to get way more outlandish and way more weirder as times went on. And I started to catch a few things, but I wasn't quite sure to what degree of catching I was. It was like going out there and throwing my net. I catch a few fish, but I ain't caught the big shark yet, so I'm going to keep on fishing, right? And he started to tell the story, and I started to catch a few things, or I thought I did, but I wasn't quite sure. Now, if I was sure that this story was inconceivable, if I was sure that this story that he told about doing this pegada on the streets was so much fakery, I would have never put it out there. That's facts. You know, because I'm not here to fucking spread lies. I'm here to spread good stories. If someone says, hey, this is nonfiction, this is fiction, or whatever the case may be, and they let you know, and they give you a pre-hand warning, hey, so some of the names will be changed to protect the innocent. then I'm down with that. But if he's going to sit there and put his life on it and say, these are facts, this is what happened, this is how it went down, I don't know about that one, Essie, right? Anyways, this guy started to proceed to tell his story. And a lot of this story that he told seemed far-fetched. It seemed like he was reaching. In everyone's stories, they always want to make themselves be the hero, not the villain. They always want to look good. They always want to be that tough guy. They always want to be the one to not take an L. You know, a lot of the stories that I've told, people are like, damn, Gun, you stay getting beat up, huh? You know what? Because I keep it real, man. You can't talk about the W's without the L's. There's a lot of letters in that alphabet, right? And keeping it real is what people expect. They're not tuning in and turning up just to fucking hear you lie and cheat and bite their ears off. This ain't no Tyson fight. Although a Tyson fight would be good about right now, right? But what they're doing is they're here to fucking get some education, hear about history and things of the past and things that are real. Now, real recognizes real. You've always heard that, and steel sharpens steel. So someone of my caliber that's been around, Holmes, that's been incarcerated for over 19 years, that have done time and been around some real heavy hitters, I understand when someone's telling a fakery ass story. I'm like this, but I want some right here. You know what I mean? I'm going to listen to it. I'm not going to disrespect the man because every man has it in him to put something in you, right? But at the same time, it's going to go in one ear and way the fuck about the other. Con earwax y todo, man. I don't care. Fairy dust. When this guy was telling the story, like just like you, I was so enraptured of the way he was telling it, I kind of bought it. Spence on the tira, the baboso bought it. I bought it. I thought, okay, quite possibly this could be facts. Well, since then, I've talked to a lot of OGs from that era. A lot of people that were around. Now, I'm not going to sit here and shit on this man Sundown and say he wasn't everything he proclaimed to be, the last general or whatever he was. A lot of these individuals that actually did time and walked these yards with him have told me that he was merely, yes, he was part of that organization. Yes, at one point in time, he was someone and did fraternize and do a lot of time with a lot of these individuals that he spoke on. But at the same time, he wasn't what he proclaimed to be here on YouTube. Now, everyone's going to put a little tapatio, a little hot sauce on their character, on their name. Sasuke, you're going to make yourself look like the ultimate warrior, Sasuke, shake those ropes, right? But at the end of the day, you ain't shit but motherfucking Doink the Clown, okay? Because when you do that, you defecate on everything that you've done prior. When you're caught in a lie, when you're caught being deceitful or fabricating or bullshit, then everything else you said doesn't matter, Holmes. Because no one can trust you anymore. You've I don't know what they call it. You fucked up, right? No one believes you anymore. I said, a lot of these stories he told were very, very, very untrustworthy, is what I could say. You know, the character that he was displaying it was just too much. A lot of these individuals he spoke on, he had his time errors all messed up. He talked, hey, at one point in time, palabra, I'm not going to say who, but a couple of homeboys were on the live with this guy, and we just decided that if for no other reason, we should just throw a name out there. Hey, you know the homeboy Chewy? He said, oh, big tall Chewy, fucking light-skinned with blogas? Yeah, that Chewy right there. He was like, oh, yeah, man, I did hella time with him. That's a good, righteous homeboy. There never was a Chewy. We was making up names as we went just to see if this vato was going to bite the bullet, and he definitely bit that hook, Holmes. Now, I know you say to yourself, well, damn, if you didn't trust this individual, why'd you keep fucking with them? You know, you got to understand, when it's a viejito, he's all, man, go, Brandon. You know what I mean? Shit, you might not like some of the things he says, but you respect the man for some of the things he's been through. Because although some of his stories were fucking pretty much fake, I still respect the man. Maybe not his word, but I respect the man for the fucking struggles that he went through and the foundation that he laid. You can't deny that. There is no denying that. He was there. Whether he done that and did it, I don't know. But he was there. Now, when he told this story on my channel, what he was doing was belittling the other side. When I say the other side, I'm sure those of you know, I don't like to speak on their organization. Do they even exist? One never knows, does one. But what I do know, yeah, the wind's blowing. I don't know, right? But what I do know is he definitely was trying to defecate on the character of the other side. And I don't get down like that. You know, I call a spade, I call real, real. Okay? If in the history of the two organizations, Chicano organizations, I might add, Mexican Americans, if they say one side, you know, has one body and one side has multiple bodies, then that's what it is. When it's been told that way for several years, Holmes, I'm not going to sit here and deny it. I'm not going to sit here and fight the feeling just because I once showed my allegiance to one side or the other, Holmes. None of it matters anyways. At the end of the day, it's an end to hostilities and everybody's getting along. And who cares who's got more bodies or more sangre on their hands, humps? Who wants it? You know, that's not what it's all about. But it seemed like this guy was throwing shit out there. Now, history tells me that that's fake. That didn't happen. It's not real. Now, I'm not going to sit here, stamp it concrete and say, this man told a fake-ass lie. But you can decide for yourself. Some of these things didn't meet the eye. One case in point was, hey, I looked about the fucking slam before he died. Nah, come on, Sammy the Bull. I heard that same story over there on fucking Michael Franchise's shit. It's just not real. Okay, why this Vato decided to tell this story and to shit on the other side, that's his mentality. That's his makeup. Maybe he has a bone to pick. Okay, and I was stupid enough to allow my platform to let him do this. Now, at the same time, I was not in the know. I didn't know exactly what he was saying, how he was going to say it. I was just so happy to hear someone from the past tell a story, man. I was like, shit, let's throw it out there, man, and see what happens. You know, and let's make the motherfucking earth shook. You understand what I'm saying? Now, at the same time, as we started to proceed with this relationship as far as friends, camaradas, homeboys, and we started to go live together, over a due course in time, I distanced myself, if you didn't notice. It was about the day that we talked about Suge Knight. Now, having had a Theo that was around the block in the 6'4", not riding on flats, he actually did time in Mule Creek with Suge Knight when Mule Creek was still active back in the 80s, okay? He happened to do some time with them and told me stories about how Suge Knight hit the yarda, Suge Knight bought TVs for all the Africanos. Suge Knight was that one. Now, Suge Knight wasn't over there pressing up on people or no, none of that, but Suge Knight was definitely that one. This was right after he was doing death row things. He caught a violation. He's in there. My Theo's right there. They worked in the kitchen together. My Theo told me stories to back up with pictures. He had receipts, right? My Theo wasn't a liar and a fat mouth. He don't give a fuck about no Suge Knight. Fuck him and Tupac as far as he's concerned. He couldn't care less. You know what I mean? He bumped Bobby Purify, I'm your puppet. And that's what he cared about, and compunction, right? So when he's telling me these stories at this time, I was like, okay, orale, you did time with Suge Knight. You know, who the fuck is that? And I started to realize exactly what it was, okay? When Sundown started to tell us these stories about doing time with Suge Knight and how they would shut the visiting room down and how his chick would come in with fur coats and he did time with them back in the early 80s. Well, he was talking about before Death Row. Let me tell you something about this, man, since the wind's blowing. Suge Knight was broker than Baby Joker back then. He didn't even have no money. So there was no way anyone with a motherfucking fur coat was coming to visit this guy. You know, this guy wasn't even incarcerated in the state of California at this time. This man had caught a shooting over there in the state of in Las Vegas. The timeline was fucked up. It just didn't match up, okay? And I just didn't agree with it. And it was at that point in time, that's when I said, okay, all these different lies and cumulative meaning a lot, of lies, word of the day. I got to back up off it like an 8-legged crawdad, man. Or is it a 4-legged crawdad? I don't know. I added legs. Fuck it. You know what I mean? So okay, call me a liar. Anyways, I backed up out of there. I said, I'm gone. I'm done. I don't want that smoke. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to distance myself from him. I'm not going to talk shit about him. But at the same time, man, real is real and fake is very fake, man. There's no way. I talked behind the scenes to a couple homeboys that totally agreed with me. We just didn't want to fucking throw the old man under the bus. Because he's an old man, man. Let him ride off into the sunset, you know, until that sun went down, you know. Don't let the sun go down on me. Sasuke went down a long time ago. Okay, see that? That's the moon, that's it, not the sun. Now, trip out. Why I wanted to do this today and throw it out there was, you know, people have gotten at me. I constantly, they're questioning. They're questioning, hey, Gun, why would you let this guy do this? Why would you let him do that? And, you know, the only thing I have to say is, Pensa la tira, it happened. I will leave the conversation up for a little while so people can go back, refer to it, and trip out on the story he told. I don't believe it to be true, gente. I'm just gonna be real. You know, Spencer Sundown, I'm not trying to shit on your character, bro. I got love for you, homie, and what you tried to do. But you know, I don't do lies. I don't do bullshit, man. That's just straight up. Now, as far as you know, some of the things he said about the other side and some of these stories he told about being on the yard and the way he was rocking and the way, you know, some things are true. You know, you can't deny it. It's in the history. But some things are very fake, man. And you know, that's why we have to watch out on YouTube for some of these stories that we hear and some of these people that come on proclaiming to be something they're not. Because at the end of the day, man, you can't respect it. You know what I mean? If you get affected by the defected. You feel me? Read between them lines. You know, I've never sat here and told you anything that I'm not or any story that isn't true, man. It's just what it was, you know, what it is. That's how we're going to continue the progress. Anyways, with that being said, I wanted to throw it out there. Just because Avalto was part of something, Holmes, doesn't mean he was a straight up stand-up character. You know, there are those individuals that are stand-up, Holmes, that are down for them organizations, if they even exist, right? That are doing what they're doing, and they're to be respected because they do what they does, man. But at the end of the day, man, individuals like this that try to play one side against the other and try to keep that fucking guerra going and try to, you know, say, oh, we were doing this and we were really doing that. Nah. I don't believe that, Holmes. What I really believe is everybody and everybody does what they does, cuz say what you chest soul power. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. If I broke your heart on this one, if people are like, damn, Gun's a cold character, I'm not. The colder thing is lying to the people. Something I won't do. I just spit out. See, I told the truth. Bang, bang. If you like this, please hit that like and subscribe one time with your thumbs up in the air. Give me a thumbs up. If not, you can hit me with that thumbs down. Heavy's going to stay the head that wears this crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in, and that's telling you guys the truth and bringing you guys real stories. And then Spence on Natira, once again, for ever allowing this character to come on here and to fucking dissuade you or persuade you that certain things happen. Come on now. 20 years later, I did this and I did that, but you're still out? Shit, homeboy. Sasuke, I don't even know why you went that route. This is the gun. Bang, bang, and in that fashion.